Welcome back to another episode of Alive Partner TV. I am your host and creator of Alive Partner, Dr. Mario Torres Leon. And today we're going to be speaking about a subject that has been coming up in the community and people asking about how these things happen. And today I am referring to the subject of transformation in our mentorship. What is it that we do? What is it that our programs look like? And what is the model that we use to be able to take you all through that cycle, through that journey of healing, transformation, of having breakthroughs in your life? When it comes particularly to opening through gratitude, opening through your feeling body, which is one of the subjects that we talk quite a bit here in the Alive Partner community, the aspect of the soul map. And if you have not seen a video on that, I'm going to ask you to click on the link below so that you can have access to that video and you can take a deeper dive into what is it that the soul map does for you, how it changes your experience of having feelings, and ultimately how that changes your experience of health. So today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the model that we use in my community, something that I have come up with that allows us to take you step by step through that process. And this is what I call the arc of healing. I'm going to show you what that looks like. And it's this diagram over here. And I'm going to make sure that we go step by step so you can actually understand what is it that this arc of healing is about. You see, one of the things that I have found through the years of coaching people and being in medicine is if you don't have a very specific method or a formula, or just give me what is it that I'm going to do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever the steps are, it's very difficult to identify what is it that I need to do, number one. Number two, it is very difficult to visualize yourself in the process that you're in. How to identify what are the things that I need in this very moment so that I can go beyond the experience that I'm having right now, in which I may be just feeling stuck. Maybe something is not working out for me. Maybe your relationships are not working out. If you're a man watching this video, perhaps you're having difficulties in your relationship with your woman. Whatever the case may be, if we don't have a framework, if we don't have something that we can follow like a cookbook, it's very difficult to be able to say, okay, this is where I'm at. Now, this is what it's required for me to go beyond the stage I'm in and go beyond this and just leave everything behind and have a different kind of experience of life. So let's just take a deep dive into this and go for step number one in this arc of healing. And I want to let you know that this is a product of years of going through different coaching programs, teaching people how to do this, the mentorship programs that I've been able to create and take people through these steps. This is a definite proven formula that works time after time after time. And ultimately, the biggest benefit of all of this is that you can see yourself. You can see where are you at any given point in time and have that awareness. In the thick of it, very often is incredibly difficult to see oneself. That aspect of awareness can be like just trying to look through fog. Everything looks far away. Sometimes we can't even see the forest for the trees. It's complicated. With this arc of healing formula and this method of approaching finding yourself in the process, you're going to realize very quickly, I know where I'm at. What is it that I need to do? So the first step is the aspect of reveal. So when we are going through this mentorship program or coaching program, or if you want to help yourself out in a particular situation, it's going to be essential to ask yourself questions that lead you to think, how do I unearth what's been hidden beneath the surface? How do I excavate what's there? And in our programs, as I take you through this aspect of revealing, we go through a process where you start to find the answers, listen to the answers that come up, that they start this engine of you discovering what has been missing. So you enter that reveal stage of this phase of the program. The second thing that is going to happen is you're going to go into the release phase. Very often, when we've had experiences that we have identified or labeled as being negative experiences, it's not going to be possible to stuff more stuff in unless I open up the space. Think about having a closet that is full of a bunch of different things: clothes, shoes, boxes, old garments, memorabilia, whatever you can think of that may be in your closet. And it's packed to the brim, almost to the point that every time you approach your closet, you're afraid of opening the door because things may just like jump out at you and basically get you hurt, right? Sometimes the closet of our lives is like that. And the more that we vent that out, we clean up the space, we can allow for new experiences to come in. And there has to be a systematic way to do that. So when we are going through this arc of healing, it is essential for us to work on the aspect of how do we release? And that's what we do in that second phase. How do we release the things that are there? How do we let go of what no longer is serving us, what's serving you? And that is a massive, massive phase as we go through this aspect of creating healing, unleashing healing in our lives. And we have very specific things that we do in those areas where we confront them, we face them compassionately, lovingly, tenderly, kindly, so that they can essentially, as we see them, we've already unearthed them, now we're there with them, we're going to let them go. And as we let them go, more of that space is going to open up for you so that new experiences, new opportunities can actually come into your life. The third portion of the arc of healing is the aspect of reclaiming right here. And when I'm talking about reclaiming, we're talking about reconnecting to your truth. And when I say truth, I'm meaning truth with capital T, real truth, the essence of who you are, reconnecting with your voice and reconnecting with your power. We're having very difficult situations in our life, great challenges. We feel lost. And part of that feeling of being lost can be trumped away, can be erased, eradicated by finding ourselves, finding our voice once again. And that aspect of reconnection is essential as we go through that phase of reclaiming who you are. The fourth phase in this arc of healing is going to be the aspect of reconnection. And what we're talking about reconnection is there are some relationships in our lives that are essential for us, whether it's a husband, a wife, children, siblings, different family members. We are meant to be in community, in connection with other people. When there are instances in your life that disconnection is reigning, it's the winning part of what's happening in your life, there's a big portion of who we are that gets lost along the way. And that fosters tremendous sentiments of loneliness, disconnection, despair, desolation, frustration. And it is essential to be able to create that aspect of reconnection, to cultivate intimacy with yourself and others again in your life. As we work on that, that now leads us to another portion of the arc of healing, and it takes us to the aspect of repairing. Now that we have gone through the revealing phase and the releasing phase and the reclaiming, reconnection, now we go into the repair phase. And this is the part where we work pretty actively with the aspect of rebuilding trust, stability, and the wholeness of who you are. This step is really important because think of it as glue in the process of taking all the pieces of who you are and then picking them all together and putting them back together in a way that is deeply and very powerfully functional for you in your life. Lastly, is the aspect of rising. And this is the last step in the arc of healing. And by the way, when I say last step, it doesn't mean that it stops there, because as you can tell, it's essentially a cycle, right? And that cycle, as that wheel is spinning, the more that I continue to go through the phases, the faster that speed becomes and the more evolution, transcendence, and transformation there is. In that last portion of the arc of healing, the aspect of rising, that really speaks to the step into which, stepping into the full alignment with the purpose in your life. And another way to think of this step of rising is think of yourself as a beam of light, and all the photons, all those molecules of light are being put together very pretty tightly packed. And that's what creates a laser like force in your life. And we believe from everything that we see with our community members that go through our experiential journeys, whether it's the Alive Partner course, whether it's the 28-day Gratitude Launchpad, also known as GL28, whether it's the 7-day Stop Fighting Challenge, where you learn about the Break, Heal, Strengthen formula. All of these experiences, the fundamental premise that is behind all of them is the arc of healing. There's different ways that we work with people in very particular areas that they want to work with. But this premise of this formula of the arc of healing, where we are going through revealing, releasing, reclaiming, reconnecting, repairing, and rising, are fundamental cornerstones, very strong foundational pieces for you to experience a different way of living and breakthroughs in your life. I would like to hear some of the comments that you may have about this, and let me know, how is this resonating with you. There are some people that may have all the ways of, Dr. Mario, this is actually how I do this, and I go from A to B, and this is what works for me. I would love to hear your comments about that, and what other things you have done that have been you've been able to use and spin that wheel, or use a method or a formula that can really allow you to expedite the process of healing and the process of really manifesting and creating a very different life, whether it's in your health, whether it's in your relationships, whether it's your professional life, those areas that are so strong for us, whether it's your financial life, going from a place where you have felt tremendous amount of lack, and addressing what are those areas that are feeling that lack, so you can actually go to the other side and essentially experience tremendous abundance. Today, we've been talking about the arc of healing, which is one of the foundational principles here in the Alive Partner community that is used in our mentorship programs, in our transformational journeys and experiences that we offer. And we find that this is extremely, extremely powerful. If you would like to get more information about this, just type in the comments below and put Arc of Healing, and we'll connect with you. If you have not seen us before and you've liked this content, please share and subscribe to our channel so you can start receiving information that we put out every single week. We're putting out content, new tools, and you can find all of those, and they're free to the public inside of the Alive Community membership site. You can see here also on the link below, you can click on it, and that will take you to the Alive Community. It's absolutely free of cost. Now, if there are other areas in your life that you would like to get some more support, be inside of a intimate container and community where you can have support from those community members, or perhaps you're in a state in your life where you need a more walk with me approach, Dr. Mario, then we can also do that inside of what we call the Live Catalyst experience, also inside of the Alive Community membership. If this content has resonated with you, as I like to say every single time that I do one of my shows, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and share this content with the people you care about in your life. I always like to say, because I've seen it over and over again, you may be the person who is the catalyst of change for the better in somebody else's life just because you shared this content. If you've been seeking and seeking and seeking, you've been reading the books, you have been going to all sorts of meditation retreats and spiritual courses and read everything under the sun, and yet there's something that is missing for you, ultimately, it could be that you're missing how to discover your soul map, how to discover your feeling body. If that's the case, put a comment below and we'll definitely get back to you with details of how we could support you with that through our content and our experiential journeys. I sincerely wish that you have an amazing day. Thank you for tuning in here, and don't forget to catch us every Wednesday here on YouTube Live at 1:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And if you miss us on Wednesdays, you can watch the replay or also catch us live on Instagram, also at 1:30 p.m. Mountain Time on Fridays. I hope you have an amazing, amazing rest of the week, and I can't wait to see you next time. So long.